Hey guys, welcome back. I had a subscriber comment on one of my videos giving me a suggestion for an idea. And one of the ideas was, what would you do if you had just won $1 million? It's an interesting concept, right? What if you won $1 million? Now, I think in order to talk about and answer that question, I think we need to make a few assumptions, right? I think I would probably want to assume that maybe this person, maybe they're playing the lottery and they don't have anything invested, right? They're buying lotto tickets every week and they're on the scratch off ones, right? Because, you know, $1 million, I don't know if you're going to win $1 million if you're doing the big lotto, you're probably going to win hundreds of millions. But let's just take a scratch off ticket. You scratch off and you win $100 or $1 million. So you don't have any retirement going on. Maybe you're in your like 20s, 30s, maybe 40s, somewhere in between there. That's my assumption, right? I'm not going to say you're in your 50s or 60s because that situation is definitely more difficult to figure out like what you should invest in. But maybe you could go with that too. I don't know. But let's just go with you're between 20 and 40. You win $1 million and you got nothing in retirement, okay? So what would I do, okay? Now, if you don't have anything in retirement, you really don't know much about the stock market. You don't know what you're doing, right? You hear things, you kind of know about the S&P 500. You've probably heard about it, right? You've never ridden a stock before, right? So that might be scary for you. You probably have never come into this type of money, so you don't know how the government's going to treat you, right? You don't even know how that's going to work from a tax perspective, but you kind of have an idea. You know it's going to be high. You should know that. Now, a lot of people, they win the lottery and they're like, they go hog wild and then they owe this big tax bill, right? So what would I do with the money? Knowing what I know today and knowing how I think someone might think about investing, right? They're not going to know much, right? So you kind of got to play it safe, right? But hopefully you're in your 20s or 30s because now you have time, okay? So what would I do? What I would do is I would split it right in half. I'd go with 500K and I'd move 500K right away into a brokerage account, okay? And then my other 500K, let's talk about that first, okay? You're going to keep that in, maybe a high yield savings at first. And you probably should keep it in high yield savings, right? To collect that, 3 to 4% that's going on right now in the market. And guess what? 40% of that, you better save for taxes. So there's 400K. You need 400,000 of $1 million to save for the IRS. That's a sad thought when you think about it. 400K. That's going all towards Uncle Sam, okay? And then you've got 100K to play with, is really what you've got. You got 100K to play with, and you probably should stick it in a high yield savings and just hold on to it for now, right? Don't spend it and just collect some interest, right? 4%, you're going to collect 4K a year. Not bad, right? But let's talk about the other 500K. Now, there's only a maximum amount that you can get pre-tax. You can put that away into an IRA. I think it's, I don't know, what is it? $7,000 into an IRA, right? So there's only a small amount you're going to be able to get to that. And there might be some other tax advantages you can talk to an accountant on. But at the end of the day, you got 500K to deal with, right? And you need to invest that money because that money, like I said, over decades is going to compound. You're going to be a multimillionaire with 500K. That's the thing. Like you became a millionaire today. You're going to be a multimillionaire in 10, 20 years. Don't forget about that. There are a lot of people who win $1 million here and there. So hopefully they find this video and stick aside 500K. $1 million isn't a lot of money as far as like, you're not going to be able to buy the Lambo, I'm sorry, right? That's just not going to happen. Don't buy anything with $1 million winnings, right? Buy the stock market. You're going to be a multimillionaire. And how would I do it, right? Let's talk about how would I deal with positioning myself in the stock market. It's a tough pill to swallow. You got to be a money manager now, all right? So, all right, you got 500, let's just go with 500K all in one account, right? Maybe, let's just go with a brokerage account. It's not an IRA. Let's not worry about the tax issues. You've already paid your taxes, 40%, right? You're going to cry about that, okay? It's going to be a sad day when you write that check to the IRS. But you got 500K, it's in the market. It's not in the market yet. It's in the cash account in the brokerage. So, what would I do? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to first spend the first year learning how the stock market works, okay? I'm not going to put it all in the SPY or any stock for that matter. However, I am going to get some exposure in the S&P 500. We're going to start there. And we're going to just go with a simple amount. We're going to go with 10% of that money, $50,000, okay? I'm going to deploy 50 grand, I think in the first 6 months, to get a feel for what volatility feels like. That's what I would hope somebody would do. All right, and how would they do that, right? And the best way to do that is to kind of do what other investors do. They DCA in, dollar cost average in. You don't want to throw your money in all at once, like I did, right? I did that with Tesla in 2019. I threw $20,000 in, and boy, in the first 4 months, I was down $9,000. All the way down. I bought it at like $234 a share, and it went all the way down $180. And I remember watching it. I was like, oh man, I'm down 7K. That sucks, right? So if you had that 500K, you don't want to feel that. You don't want to feel like your winnings are gone. Okay, so I would take my 50K and I would deploy it probably like maybe $5,000 a week, just to get that feel for what that's going to feel like. $5,000 at the end of the week. $5,000 at the end of the next week, or at the beginning, however your cadence you want to be is. And to where at the end of year one, you got 50K in the S&P 500. Now, the beautiful thing about that, a lot of people, they say the SPY is boring. It's not anymore. I mean, I've been doing a lot of self-reflection on the SPY and talking about it. And in my last video, I talked about the weightings of the SPY. I'm learning as I'm doing this YouTube channel. The weightings are insane. It's like 35% of the Mag 7, the Magnificent 7 tech companies and Berkshire Hathaway. And it's gonna stay that way probably for a long time. So you're getting the best of the best in the SPY. You're getting great exposure with 50 grand. And the whole time, you got 450K sitting on the sidelines in the cash account collecting 3 to 4% interest, right? And, probably year over year, you're going to have to pay taxes on that interest that comes in. Don't forget about that, right? So the next year, you got 3 to 4% now in addition to play with, and you get a feel for the SPY. Hey, maybe, I hope for you that the SPY has dropped. And now you deploy another 50K the year after that, okay? And then you get a better feel. And maybe the next year after that, you deploy another 100K. Now you got 200K in the market. Hey, maybe you start seeing some growth. Okay, deploy another 50K. All right, now you got 250,000 in the SPY. Cool. You've also collected interest. Now you've got even more money to play with, right? And now maybe you could deploy 10, 20, 30,000 into some individual stocks. And you just keep going there and after. You don't blow it all at once. You don't stick it all in the market all at once. You take your time. You learn the market, right? Have some play money. And as well, keep some cash on the sidelines in your brokerage account, right? If you got 250K in, let's say you got 250K in the SPY and it drops dramatically. You got 250K on the sidelines. Now you've got some opportunity. keep some cash on the sideline. And that goes for every other investor. Whether you won $1 million or not, keep some cash on the sideline. And as well, let's talk about that 100K you have not in the market or not in the brokerage account. Keep that on the sidelines, because there's going to be a rainy day someday. Keep working your job. You can't quit your job with $1 million, winning $1 million. Sorry to tell you, you can't quit your job. I wish you could. Now, if you win 10 million, you're probably good if you know how to manage money. You can quit your job, right? But with 1 million, no, you can't quit your job. Keep cash on the sidelines. So that would be my approach. I wouldn't stick it all in. I'd take my time and learn it and talk to people, watch YouTube videos. That's what I'd do as well. I'd be on YouTube learning. It's wisdom out here, right? That's how you take that $1 million, you start learning, right? You don't dump it in the SPY on day one, you know? Take a small, tiny position, do some nibbling, right? That's what I would do. That's what I'm doing today. I'm nibbling, right? I just recently took a position in AMD. I'm thinking about nibbling some more if it goes down, right? I'm happy with my position. If it goes to the moon tomorrow, cool, you know, I'm happy. Yeah, we'll make some money. But as far as, you know, adding to the position, it needs to go lower, right? Because that's how the market works. You want a dollar cost average in, and you want to get the lowest price possible. Buy on red days, right? And if you see some red days, if you're a millionaire, if you win $1 million, you see some big red days, get a little more aggressive if you're trying to build up that position, okay? So, I don't know. That's my take on winning $1 million. That would be my first approach. There's probably other ways to look at it. You know, if you have a current portfolio, you know, there's probably different ways to look at that too. But I'm going to assume you don't have anything and you need to build a position. So, anyways, hey, I just want to thank the subscriber with that comment. It's fun to have ideas and it's fun to talk about these things. So, if you guys could take a look at my previous video, and you guys have a great day. Thanks. Bye.